My name is Achim Bode. I'm a consultant for knowledge management at Data Farms in Berlin, and I started as a concept developer and project manager at Pixel Park, and then worked as a freelancer for a while. And then I found myself teaching project management at several universities, funnily, and slipped into a research project on social software in project management, where we evaluated the applicability of several types of social software within the project management of media projects. And this is actually where I kind of fell in love with Semantic Media Wiki. Though it was not the weapon of choice concerning the figures we got out of our evaluations, we had set up several teams of former students who did real projects for real clients, because otherwise you can't measure project management. But these platforms we used there lacked customization, so it was just consequent to go to Data Farms afterwards, who had big clients and who had already MediaWiki installed. And yeah, what Data Farm claims to do is we help companies using MediaWiki successfully, and moreover integrating processes and help our customers become a learning organization. Yeah, big words, but I come back to that in a minute. So what I want to present you today is the extension PerformanceMonitor, which helps you to monitor the performance, what's going on under the hood of your server. And it's actually not an extension we intended to write, but it more like happened. It materialized alongside another project, and we had performance problems on another front. So for the argumentation, we just had to do it, I may say. Yeah, back to the learning organization. What might we accept as an indicator or as a criteria for a learning organization? I think in terms of wikis, it's high edit rates for one thing. I mean, people inputting data and putting in lots of information, then checking, rechecking, and correcting if necessary. And then I think the second level above it is the intensive use of queries when it comes to modeling your own views on the data. So if people work lively with the data, they start presenting their own views on it, arranging projects and project data, for example, or project results, and this is something where Semantic Media Wiki is really good at. And another thing that is kind of extraordinary is that Semantic Media Wiki also allows the user to use it that way. So if you don't do any restrictions intentionally, the user himself is able to do queries to generate tables of data from all over the wiki, and that's different than in most other softwares. So now, interestingly, this often leads to heavy use of Semantic Media Wiki features, and also like templates with many icons and neatly done stuff, and this is what we appreciate, but it sometimes causes performance issues, of course. And now you can't, on one hand, encourage your clients to do it that way, to work that way, and on the other hand, blame them if they cause performance issues. And so it's always I think the crucial thing is to have a common basis when it comes to discussions about performance. And yeah, one thing you might want to do when, or you usually do when you have performance issues, is dive into the profiler logs. This is what they look like. I don't know who ever used them of you. The profiler is a class that actually does nothing else but profiling the time, the point of time when MediaWiki enters a method or leaves a method. And these are the logs, and I think the interesting part about it, some of you might not be able to see it, but that's the cursor down here. So the whole file is, yeah, 18, in this case, 18.5 megabytes long. So this is not what you want to do as a human being, actually, this was not what number crunchers are made for. But what humans are very good at is digesting big amounts of data visually, large chunks of data, and detecting patterns. So we decided to make a visual representation of what happened under the hood. And all we had to do for this was deriving a profiler class from the one or from those that come shipped with native MediaWiki, and make it spit out JSON data, which we could pipe into an interactive diagram. And in our case, we opted for InfoVis library by Nicolas Garcia Belmonte, because, among other things, it provides a diagram type, the icicle diagram, and this allows for drill down of processes. So if I visualize processes that way, I can identify the large parts, the heavy things first, and then I can go into detail and look what actually caused these troubles. What we did was we put those things together and into a special page called Special Performance Monitor, surprise, and this is what those diagrams look like. And in opposition to the log files line by line I showed you before, it's pretty easy even for a non-professional to identify on first sight that probably if we stumble into performance issues, it's probably this method that causes too many calls of other methods, and this is where we should start digging. And the interesting thing about those diagrams is that it's not only easy for me then to find the crucial things where to start, but the most important thing is that when it comes to a discussion with your clients about what we should dedicate the next 2 weeks to, implementing 10 new features or refactoring, refurbishing and streamlining the software, you know what the answer usually is. I mean, I as a client would also go for the next 10 features, of course, but on the basis of these kinds of diagrams, it's pretty easy to have a good discussion about what is necessary to do about the software, or to do about the wiki code they produced, to do about the PHP code we produced, so it's much easier it's comprehensible enough so that even people from other professions. I mean, we have to do with highly educated engineers, so they know how to read the diagram, and on this basis we have very constructive discussions. So enough of dry swimming exercises. Let's dive into it. It's a bit difficult to do this around the corner, but I'll try my very best. Let's have a look at the special page PerformanceMonitor. We made it that way that you can implement several servers you want to observe and several wikis. So it detects which of the paths you configured for them are available, and thereby takes the first available wiki on the first available server by default, which it indicates up here. So this is the name of the wiki, and this is propeller book. So this is localhost in this case, and that's the diagram you get. And well, yeah, here you can see how these how long it takes for the different processes. And let's dive in here. For example, as you can see, this frame here indicates where you are at the moment in relation to the whole process, and then you can go down and find out where all your server time goes, and what the problems actually are. If you can't read these method names and everything because they are too long, you also have the possibility to reduce the number of levels, or if you want to get an overview like the screenshot I showed before, you can also increase it so that you see more parts, more processes. And well, yeah, this is proved to be a pretty nice tool as a basis for communication with the clients. This is how you go up, and then you can also go up the whole trip. Wait a minute. And so we are back. And well, yeah, then when it worked out and you have convinced your clients that we should do something upon this or that topic, and did some refactoring, or for example, one thing is turning results using templates which do their own queries in turn into semantic result formats. This is one of the things you can do, for example, well, afterwards you want to, of course, you want to show the success. So yeah, now comes the point where I have to say this is still work in progress. So everyone, any help is appreciated, and but you might want to compare the state before the refactoring and after the refactoring. And well, this is where we are at the moment. Here you can choose a second file, for example. Oh, here you can see what's in the directory, all the log files. And interesting to see is also that the profiler logs for every call of the page, logs several run-throughs. One is for the wiki page itself, then one is for the styles, and one is for the scripts, depending on the configuration of your client and server. And so let's just take any of them to compare. And in this case now it will show two diagrams, but this is not yet really implemented in a way that you can use it. So that's where we are at the moment. Another thing is that you can see that down there some of the segments are colored, and this is something you can do at the moment only in on the backend side, and we want to implement it in a way that you can do it here on the interface and do it on the fly. Yeah, that's actually about it for the demo. And so what should you use this extension for, or why would you want to use it? One point is of course that you may save time while searching for performance hogs. The second one for developers is that you can show improvements immediately and probably recheck if those ideas you just implemented are really that sleek in terms of performance as you hope them to be. And yeah, for the management, it's also a good thing to see which extension is fast or needs improvement. And I think it can make problems transparent to almost anyone, and it proved to be a good basis for communication. So now you have all this integrated in one extension, and it's ready to use. So maybe one or the other of you need something like this, and I thought I might present it today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes?
I'm not sure I completely understood. Usually you have problems with certain pages only, not with everything. Is this tool capable of monitoring a single page and
Yes.
everything that's related to this one?
Right. What this tool does is, or what the profiler does in general, is it just, you probably, if you've ever had a look at the code, you probably know those profile in, profile out commands. And yeah, that is what it records. So if you, it starts recording the minute you open a page. So you can really test also the wiki code and parser functions and everything, and of course semantic media wiki functions for a certain page, and that way dig into it. And you really see what process takes the most time and what process calls what other processes. So
this is a really nice extension. I have two questions. One is it publicly available on MediaWiki.org or somewhere?
got me.
Or will it be at some point? And the other question is, how easy or hard is it to set up? So do I just start profiling on my MediaWiki and install the extension and then it works? Or is there any other steps I have to do?
Oh, yeah. For one thing, it's not yet available. I tried to upload it on Garrett and had several problems, and but I will make it available soon on GitHub, which is much easier. And there is already an extension page for it, but there's no download link. Thanks for mentioning it. And the other question was the configuration. There's actually, you just configure it like any other extension. I've just tested it to on MediaWiki 120 because this is where we had the problems. So no other versions. But what you have to do, of course, is to copy and paste a little code into the start profiler PHP, because this is run pretty in the beginning of the code and can't be replaced by something else. And the other thing is a legal thing that I use those InfoVis library, and I think if I upload it, I have to remove it and add an explanation how to put it there, so that you can download it from this site.